Hi again, everyone. Remember this cover that we made, or I made, out of toilet paper rolls, and we completed this cover, and I am now going to show you what I'm going to put on the inside, how I'm going to insert the pages for this. And I guess I'll tell you a couple of options, and I'm going to just choose one out of the two. I went to the Dollar Tree and I found these paper pads that are 4 by 6 inches. So they're already glued and bound on the edges. So I thought, well, all I'd have to do is just take this cover off and then this cover off and then just glue this to the spine. And then actually, this would probably take two paper pads, so I would buy two, and then just glue them both in there. And then that would be all to that. So that would be one option that would be super, 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 super easy to do. And all you would have to do then, since this is 4 inches tall already, this width or this height matches perfectly for this, and you would just cut off an inch on the end to match the length of the cover. However, I think that these papers they're super, super thin and flimsy, and they're okay, but in keeping with this, I guess, kitchen style, I thought index cards would work the best, because then you could use them like recipe cards. And Dollar Tree also has packs of the index cards that are 4 by 6 inches, or you could do the 3 by 5. Then you wouldn't have to cut an inch off the side. It just would be a little shorter in height than the 4 inches. So when you glue them to your spine, you would just have to center them, vertically, just to make sure that they're perfectly centered when you glue them down to your spine. I, however, kind of like the idea of it just being the same width and height. And this is a little over a pack. So there's a pack of 100 in these, and I probably used, I used less than 2 packs. But this is a nice thick block of index cards, and I think this is going to turn out like really nice if these stay glued together okay. And as you can see, I've just cut them down to 5 inches in length, and then they fit perfectly as far as height goes. And now you've got this really significant block of index cards with a really cute cover that you can have on display in your kitchen, or whatever you design your cover to be. And once I get this tied together and closed, it's going to be really cute. And then I can just use this as a recipe card, so I can have it sitting out, recipe book, fill in recipes as I go along, and just have this as part of the decor in the kitchen, and also be easily accessible because it'll always be out. So I've already cut these down and just kind of, didn't really measure. As I was cutting them down, I would just insert them in here and just make sure that they were going to fit the right width here, and it looks perfect. So how I'm going to insert these is I'm just going to glue one end, secure all the pages together with some glue, and hopefully this works well. So I'm going to just straighten this pack out as much as I can. I know this isn't going to be like 100% perfect, but I'm going to stand up so that I can see from the top and just try to make it as even as I can here. And I had, where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh, so I've lost my, okay. Oh, here it is. So I'm just going to take, you could take a rubber band, you could take clamps, you could take whatever, and just once you get it looking the way that you want it to look, as evenly as you think you can get it, then I'm just going to I don't have clamps like wide enough or binder clips that are big enough right now to keep this in place. So I'm just going to use this to help hold this together while I put a layer of glue on this end. And then once I do that, I'll just put some heavy object over top. So let's do that first. I should have clamps. Where would my clamps be? Oh well. I won't worry about it. I know I got a set of clamps from the Dollar Tree, and I know that they would be wide enough to hold this, but that's okay. So I'm just using some tacky glue. Some Eileen's tacky glue, and I'm going to put a thin layer on one end. And I'm going to brush that on. And these are not perfectly cut, as you can see, even out of the factory. So, but that is okay. I mean, once they're put in the cover, you're not going to be able to tell that. So I'm going to just put a nice layer across here. And then I've got this bottom one sticking. So I'm going to do like 3 coats of this. At least 3 coats. I'm going to let this dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it back down, and I'm going to put it under something heavy. I'm just going to unhook that. And let me get a book. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So I've got my glue. Just going to carefully lay it down, and I'm going to put this like this. I'll probably put some heavier objects on top, but in the meantime, I also wanted to put a little bookmark in here. So while that is drying, I found this little, well, I didn't find this little gray piece of ribbon, which I thought would go, I thought it would be cute. It's a very thin piece of something I cut off of a sweater. You know those things that those things in your shirt, that those little loops that are supposed to help hold your shirt onto a hanger, I guess, which I never use. So this was cut off of a sweater, and I'm like, oh, well, I could use that for a bookmark. So that's what I'm going to do. So while this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this to, I'm just going to go ahead and use tacky glue with this as well, to the center of my spine, and just as close to the center as I can. And you may not see that too well. I'm sorry about the glare. Let me lift these up so I can, gotta lift these the sides up so I can see where my center is, because it's hard to tell with this. So as close to the center as possible. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring, so I'm just gonna glue it down like this, and just let that dry while I wait for my index cards to dry. So like I said, I'm going to repeat the process on the index cards at least 3 times. So once that first layer of glue dries, I'm going to put in another layer, then wait for that to dry, and then put another layer and wait for that to dry. And I'll probably put a piece of paper, I will probably glue a piece of paper to the end as well, just to give it some more stability. Then once all that dries, I will glue it to the spine and we'll see how that turns out. So I will return after all of that has been done. So thank you guys. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have done 3 coats of the tacky glue on one edge of this block of index cards and let each coat dry in between, and it's pretty much dry. And so now I've cut another piece of this paper that I had used for the background for the cover of this to just take that and glue that around just to reinforce this again. And this is approximately 1.25 inches wide. So I've cut a piece 2.25 inches wide and then 4 inches tall. So I'm going to take my tacky glue again and I'm just going to put some of this tacky glue in the center of this piece of paper. And then I'm going to stand up and center this block as good as I can. Put this directly in the center. That looks pretty good. So just smooth that down. And then I'll put some more tacky glue around both sides of the paper here. And then fold this paper around. And then this gives it a little extra something when you open up the cover. I'm going to have to change my parchment paper. So now I'm just folding that around. And for some reason it's not quite even at the top and bottom, but that's okay. I don't think we have this like perfectly straight here, but that's all right. Let's turn this around. Okay, so we have that. And then I'm going to glue this block into the cover now, but I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac for that because I think this will be stronger. And since the inside of this is fabric, hopefully this will make it more secure. So I'm going to just put some Fabri-Tac. Sorry, I'm kind of out of your view there a little bit. Flip this around so I can get the edge. Make sure I'm getting it right in the spine there. This has quite a smell to it, like acetone. So now I'm going to, I think the easiest way for me to do this is just set it up this way, set this block up this way, and just put it right there in the middle, and just press it in there. Just press it as best as I can. So I've got my marker, or my, what do you call this? my bookmark on the outside. And then I'm going to leave it sit like this for a little bit. I feel like I need more hands than two because I would like to go ahead and tie this together, but I think I'll just leave it. I'm going to figure out how to get this to stand up like this until it is dry. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, so I'm just going to press this down as best as I can. And I think it would help if I tied these. I can just let go for a second. That's not that great. Not very tight. But I'm kind of nervous. I don't really want to let go of it right now. So there's that, and it's looking really nice. So this will just take a little bit to dry. I'll come back when it's dry, and then we'll test it out and see how well the pages stayed. We'll cross our fingers. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so our mini notebook slash recipe book has been drying for probably about 40-45 minutes, so here's the big reveal. I did put a stack of books over top of this while it was drying, and then I took my hair band or hair tie just to keep it closed a little bit because I had tied this and it wasn't too tight, or I didn't feel was tight enough to keep it closed. I did trim the ends of the string a little bit, and also did trim a little bit of the bookmark here. So let's just test it out and see how well this works. So have this, open this up, and then we have our little mini notebook with the index cards in there all glued in. I'm just going to flip through carefully, and it feels like they're in there pretty securely. And I'm not going to crack it open too, or I'm not going to be super rough with this, but it actually seems to be holding together quite well. So I think that it's a success. So I'll put my little mark here, and I think I know who I'm going to give this little notebook to. And I think this turned out so cute. I love the idea of the index cards here and the little red and white theme. If I had bigger sheets of this background paper, I would have just went ahead and printed the image directly on the background paper, but since I didn't, that's why I went through and just printed the image on the tracing paper and then glued it on there. But otherwise, I think, you know, the easiest thing to do if you had this and bigger paper that would fit, you know, big enough to fit into a printer, just print the image directly on the paper. But other than that, I think this turned out awesome, and this is like a substantial little mini notebook. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about this. I appreciate you again watching and subscribing, and each time I get more subs, it just motivates me to come up with even more things. And I really enjoyed doing this toilet paper roll or toilet paper tube notebook, and I'll probably make some more. Not sure if I will do the index card type or not, but there's so many different things that you can do with these, so many different options, so many different designs, and I'm excited to get started on some more stuff. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you get some inspiration from this and maybe make your own. So I appreciate you again. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Please like, please comment. I appreciate all of your feedback. So thank you so much, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.